Hi, I'm glad you're back at Full of Beans, and today we're going to make black bean burgers, which are really pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and once you get the hang of it, you can do all kinds of things with it. Black bean burgers are a great alternative to hamburgers. If you're trying to introduce vegan dishes to meat eaters, black bean burgers are a great way to go. And when they ask, but what about the protein? In a cup of black beans, there's a little more than 15 grams of protein. There is about 8 grams in quinoa, which is what I'm going to use with them. Typically you're going to use black beans and then some sort of grain. Quinoa, rice, oatmeal, oat flour. You really can be very flexible. I'm starting with 6 cups of black beans. I have about 1.5 cups of cooked quinoa. I have 2 flax eggs. Now, I don't know if when you grew up your mom made hamburger and used hamburger meat and eggs. Maybe you do it or have done it in the past and mixed it all together to make the patties. Flax eggs are an unbelievable alternative. This is 2 flax eggs, and if you look, it is literally the consistency of eggs. It is 1 tablespoon of ground flax seed or flax meal to 3 tablespoons of water, and throw it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to really set. This has been in there for about an hour. What I have for I buy the flax seeds. They have a much longer shelf life, and then as I need them, I have a designated coffee grinder and I just grind them up. It's really a great way to go. But you certainly can buy flax meal already ground if you do store it in the fridge. I have 1 chopped small onion, a tablespoon of dark chili powder, a teaspoon of sea salt with a couple grinds of black pepper, and a generously rounded teaspoon of cumin, which is a favorite in this house. Also, there's about a little shy of 1 cup of thawed frozen pepper mix. So what I'm going to do is, this is 6 cups, I'm going to take about half of it and pulse it in the food processor to make it soft, and I'll probably pulse it with the peppers, and then add things. I'll let you know as I go.
And this could be done in a blender too, right?
It would be a little harder in a blender. You might have to add a little water so it doesn't just all get wrecked. Yeah, I mean not wrecked, so it doesn't all get a big clump at the bottom. You know, I just hate the work of trying to get stuff out of a blender. Hi, Hazel. So before I get to that, I'm gonna just take my fabulous, what do you call this thing, Greg?
It's a masher.
A masher. And just mash up the remaining beans a little bit. Now, if you are feeding this to people who typically eat beef burgers, you might want to just puree the whole thing, because the texture, the look of it will be more familiar to them, I guess.
Beefy.
More beefy. They might not like vegetables popping out or the edges of beans showing. These are kind of dry. I'm just adding a little bit of water to it. I may regret that later, but if it's too wet, but I just want it to, yeah, that's more what I want.
Helps with the consistency, right?
Yes. I'm just going to pulse in these peppers. Yeah. Now, you could really just do that. If you didn't have a food processor, you could really just mash this all by hand. Wouldn't be that tough. What do you think, Greg? Do you want me to pulse in the onions too? Or do you want them whole in there? What do you feel like?
Whole.
Whole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like hamburgers made with whole onions in there.
The way my mom used to make them?
The way your mom used to make them. Let's have hamburgers the way your mom used to make them.
But let's use black beans instead of cattle.
Exactly.
So when we were preparing for this, we were looking stuff up, and what did we decided that even though there's more protein, of course, in a beef burger, like enough for your entire dietary need for the entire day, about 40 grams. And that's in a 6-ounce burger. That's not a Whopper, that's not a huge whatever. But anyway.
It'd be almost what I would need in a whole day.
Oh, yeah, what
as a
Greg would need in a
150-pound male.
whole day but there's also 27 grams of saturated fat and no fiber.
Well,
So,
27 grams of fat. Some of that is saturated.
Oh,
Most
okay.
of it. Most
All
of
right.
it's saturated.
all right.
Right. And no fiber. And no carbs.
I'm going to add these in. Oh my goodness. I wish you could smell this cumin. It is one of my favorite smells. And I wish you could see this cute dog over here, baby dog. So I mixed up the beans that I mashed a little bit, the beans that I ran through the food processor. As you can see, there's still some fairly good sized bits of the pepper, which I could have just chopped by hand, but I didn't feel like it. There's the quinoa, and I could put half of that in if I wanted. The thing is that once you start making black bean burgers, you realize you can do tons of things with them. If you like them hot, you can put hot sauce in them. If you like, if you kind of like that, look at this. Oh my goodness! If you like that sort of smoke flavor, you could put a little liquid smoke in it. I never have liked liquid smoke, so I don't use it. I think I've had the same little bottle for a long time. But you could do it, and really, it is just what you like. You could put garlic in it, roasted garlic. You could even put diet cheese in it and make it like a vegan cheeseburger. But these are going to be fabulous. Oh my goodness! How about that smell, Greg? Can you smell it over there?
It's amazing.
The cumin. Okay, so did you hear me say I might regret putting the water in the food processor? Well, it's a little bit wetter than I want to make it. I could totally make patties with this. It's ever so slightly wetter than I want for that. So what I'm adding is some gluten-free oat flour, just a little bit to make it a little drier, just so forming it is a little easier. And I mean like a little bit. One of the reasons I'm using quinoa and gluten-free oat flour is because our daughter is extremely gluten intolerant, so we try to make everything food friendly for her. But you could use wheat flour if you wanted. You could use breadcrumbs, anything like that would really work. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready to make these patties. So I'm forming these into patties. Obviously, you can do whatever size you want. I put the oven at 350. You could do it 350, 375. I would do it 20 minutes at least on one side and then flip it. It's kind of like, you kind of want the texture of a hamburger, you know, sort of firm but not dried out. And to be honest with you, one of the reasons we're making this today is because we discovered this unbelievable nacho cheese style cheese that you make with carrots and potatoes that is unbelievable. So we're going to have that with these, and we can put that on the post, right, Greg? We can.
Yeah.
That recipe, you may see it at the end of this. I don't know how this video is going to end, but we're really kind of excited about having this black beans and this nacho cheese that is so low fat and so yummy. Okay, so I think I mentioned that I prepared these beans last night in the crock pot, and there was a link on the site to how I did that. It's really, really easy, but in a pinch, if you were pressed for time, you could certainly use canned beans, as we've done in the past. Also, I'm using raw onion in this. If that's a strong flavor for you and you don't really like it, you could saute them ahead of time. You could put mushrooms in this, really anything. Just consider the black beans like a vehicle for whatever flavor you're in the mood for. We were sort of in the mood for a Mexican thing, but just because it's beans, it doesn't have to be Mexican. You can do mushrooms and I don't know. What else, Greg? What else would people put in it?
Oh, I think you could put corn in it if you wanted to.
Yeah, corn, that's a great idea.
Like some of those garden burgers we've had.
Okay.
Peppers, like we have. These are great.
So.
Nice messy hands.
Nice messy hands, but look at these 10 beautiful burgers. So I'm really excited about this. I'll put them in at 350 for 20 minutes at least before I turn them. I'm betting it's going to be 35 to 40 minutes before they're done. Okay, so I'll let you know. Okay, so I'm taking them out of the oven now. I put them 20 minutes on the first side, flipped them over, and did another probably like 18 minutes, a little shy of 20. And I obviously made pretty big burgers because I'm hungry, but if you made them smaller, figure you probably need just a little less time. So you want to just, when they're firm to the touch, they're done. It's really, really easy. I hope you try this and enjoy it. And again, be creative with it. Just go with what you have in the house. It's really not an exact science. Bean burgers are just fun things to eat. So thanks so much for coming. If you enjoyed this, like us and come again. Take care.